Live with Les. Getting started just a couple minutes early. I want to get some of the pitches and some of the stuff out of the way, so we can just dig in with Don Reed here in a little bit and play some great gospel quartet music of the Statler Brothers. All of that coming up here in just a little bit. But as always, got to pitch the old mug right there. Live with Les. Old chubby face, chubby cheeked Les right there. Live with Les. See there? Live with Les. Southern Gospel Music, Memorabilia, Memories, and Ministry. All of that. Okay. All right. And let's see what else can I say. Oh, don't forget, always the last few shows, I want to put this up here to remind you, the Walking by Faith, great big old shindig and homecoming. Right there's the phone number. Look at that. Jot this down. I'll explain what's going on. 4 days and 3 nights, as you can see. All-inclusive resort weekend getaway there in North Carolina at Fontana Dam, and it is something else to behold. You can call Amy right there, 828-735-9025, 828-735-9025, or you can go to the website there at the very bottom, kind of cut it off there, Walking by Faith Mountain Homecoming.com. Walking by Faith Mountain Homecoming.com. Okay. And let's see, you got Walking by Faith, your host group, the Rochester's Primitive Quartet, Young Inspirations, right there. You see some of those pictures right there, some great preaching. It's just going to be a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend at Fontana Village in North Carolina. Good stuff right there. All right, so we got that knocked out and out of the way here. So let's see what else we got. We got, let's talk YouTube. Go to Live with Les Butler. Go to youtube.com. Type in Live with Les Butler. And then you need to subscribe. And you need to click on the little bell, which means you will know every time I come on with a Live with Les on YouTube. Okay? Now this will... tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the last show that you will see on my personal Facebook page. We're going to try to do it at the Live with Les Facebook page. So you need to go and join that, okay? Or like it. You like Facebook pages. So like the Live with Les Facebook page, not my personal page, which is where you are right now if you're on Facebook. You need to like the Live with Les Facebook page, okay? Because starting in August, we will be live on that page, as well as YouTube. And maybe some of you are watching on the YouTube channel now. So back to YouTube. Go to youtube.com, click on the subscribe button, and hit the little bell. So that means you'll get the prompts every time that I come on live, and you'll know immediately that I'm on live, okay? And let's see, we have just added, we got giveaways and everything. Okay, so every week we give away a pair of tickets to the Mike Huckabee TV show in Nashville, but you have to like the Live with Les Facebook page. You have to like the Live with Les Facebook page for that, okay? And then on if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, we give away a pair of tickets to Eureka Springs, Arkansas, just south of Branson, so you'll make a Branson weekend out of it. The Passion Play, okay? So go do all that. Now, when you go to my YouTube channel, check this out. Just today, we've added videos where to go from the Cathedral Quartet, the Blue Ridge Quartet, a couple of Statler Brother gospel videos that are really great. And also, we've added 6 Harmony Road TV shows that I host. So if you haven't seen them on television, you can just dial them up there on YouTube at my YouTube channel, and bang, zoom, there you are. Okay, you're watching Harmony Road TV, 30-minute gospel music show hosted by yours truly. So all of that is found on my YouTube channel. Go and subscribe. Go to Live with Les Butler there on YouTube. Subscribe, hit the little bell. You'll get the prompt every time I'm on live. Okay? All right, so there you are. So that's all of that stuff. I think that's all I wanted to tell you. Yep, that's it. All right. So tonight we are going to be talking music business is what we're going to be talking, as well as, again, playing some great quartet music from our friends, the Statler brothers. All of that happening tonight. But what prompted this was, I read the anthology book that Harold Reed wrote and was proofed and approved by his brother Don. And then I got the audio book of it, and I've been listening to some of that. And I read every single word of the book, every single word. But when you hear him say it, I don't know, it's hitting me differently. I may talk to him about that in a moment. It's just hitting me differently, hearing Don actually read the book, and it has prompted some things. And one thing in particular that tied into the Duke of Paducah, we'll talk to Don about that in a moment, really is what spurred this whole thing of, you know what? He knows business stuff. He knows music business stuff. And I want him to share some music business stuff with us. So if you are in the gospel music business and you have a question about music business stuff and how it may pertain to gospel music, some of the things he went through as in management with the Statler brothers as one of the owners and all of that, then type in your question. And if it makes sense for me to read, I'll read it. If it doesn't, we won't. And I'll try to maybe help you after the show in some way. Okay? So go ahead and type in your question if you have a question. And if you know of any artists that maybe they don't know that this show is going on today, you know what you need to do. You need to call them, text them, message them in some way and say, listen here. Go to facebook.com and type in Les Butler and go watch this live, or go to YouTube and type in Live with Les Butler, and you can watch the show now live on YouTube or that Facebook page, and have them go right now, and then have them ask their question if they are a singer, and maybe they've always wanted to ask a question to someone that's been in the business forever. Now, I've been in it a long time, but Don's been in it longer than myself, and much more successful than I. So we'll let you ask the questions to me or to Don, but if I'm you, I'm asking Don Reed and not me. You know what I mean? So anyway, this right here is what stirred it all. So if you bought the book, let me do a pitch here for Don. As great as the book was, and I read every word and I couldn't put it down. I missed sleep because of it. Get this and let Don talk to you about the book. And man, it's just all riveting stuff to me. I can't help it. Love, 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 love it. All right. So before we play any music or anything, what do you say we just go ahead and get things started and bring in my friend and a man that knows the music business, I promise you that, Mr. Don Reed of the Statler Brothers. Hello, Don Reed.
Les, how you doing, my man?
I'm good. I'm good. How are things in Stanton, Virginia?
Stanton is wonderful, and I'm sitting here watching you doing all that plugging for the book and for the DVD, and thank you, pal. Appreciate it.
Yeah. We gave this a little test run earlier today, and the video's looking good, and we got the audio going, so it's wonderful.
Okay.
All right. So
we're back tonight. I don't know what we're commemorating here.
Well, we're talking about the music business.
But we both wore black shirts tonight.
Oh, yes, we did. Yes. I need to get you one right here for my company, Butler Music Group. See there?
Absolutely. Yeah. Can I put my name on the back of it?
I'll have that. No, I can. I can get yours. Mine isn't on the back, but I can get yours on the back.
Okay.
Are we start a softball team? What are we doing?
That's what we look like.
Well, we're talking tonight music business, Don. Now, you when you got started, you were just a teenager, but as you continued into the business, obviously you got eyeball deep into the business of music throughout the years.
Yeah.
And you kind of touch on certain things in the book. And one of the things that made me go, you know what? I'd like to bring Don on and let's talk about music business stuff was this story that you gave about the Duke of Paducah. Now, this isn't really management, but it's business. And he stopped you on stage or on the side of the stage. Tell that story a little bit, and then we'll go on from there.
we had joined the Johnny Cash troupe. It was in 1964. I was like 18 years old. And we had joined the troupe. And there's a lot of people on the tour, Sonny James and Bill Anderson and Duke Paducah. He was emceeing the show and doing some comedy. So anyway, we were brand new. We were green. And I stood on the side of the stage every night and just watched everything, was just soaking it in, everything I could imagine. And he said to me, for some reason, I don't know why he singled me out, not knowing that I would be doing his job the next tour. But he said, son, remember, if you're ever introducing somebody on stage, find out from which side of the stage they're going to enter, and then you exit the opposite side so you don't bump into them and spoil their entrance.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that makes great sense. He was an old vaudevillian, an old show person. He knew. Whitey Ford was his name. And so I said, yeah, that's great. Well, by the next tour, I'm doing. John had come to me and said that because I emceed with the Statler part of the show, and he said, I want you to introduce all the acts. Okay. So I got to wear for the next, 5 or 6 years. That's what I would do every night. On top of the Statler stuff, I would introduce whoever was on the show, whoever else, Tex Ritter or Carl Perkins or Kitty Wells, whoever it might be. But I always learned that, and I found out what they wanted to be said about them, what side you're coming in on, and so I never bumped into anybody, thanks to the old Duke.
Yeah. Wow. And that's such a kind of like a no-brainer kind of thing to do. But I have to admit, I don't know. I've emceed over the 43 years of doing this. I don't know, 1,000, 2,000. I don't know how many. And I don't know that I've ever consciously made the attempt to come in from the other side. I hope I have every time because it makes so much sense. But I probably am right in the middle of everything and messed things up before.
Well, we never know when we're not thinking. But that's just one of those things to think about, and it works. MCs are an important part of the show.
It is. Let's talk about that because, some folks have to MC their own programs. Sometimes they're on a program with multiple artists. And in gospel music, the budgets are normally pretty tight and all that. And there may not be an MC that was paid to be there to do the show. And somebody then that's one of the groups will just take on that responsibility and will be the MC. So talk about MCing. What are some of the things that someone can do to really help themselves to be a top-notch MC?
All right, if say you're involved in the promotion of a show and you got a gospel group and you say, well, I'm going to go out and I'm going to introduce them, get them on stage. I think it's important to realize that they are the attraction. Don't go out there unprepared. Go and think about what you're going to say before you introduce them and do it in an effective way and be concise and get them on stage as quickly as you can. And don't start rambling and talking and thinking, oh, you got to fill up some time. You don't. Let the act fill up the time. That's what they're for.
Yeah. Did you ever have something kind of in the back of your mind just in case something really weird happened, like you're ready to introduce the artist and you're on stage, but you see the artist hasn't made it yet, and oh my goodness, I really do have to kill time now. What do you do?
Well, I think if you got something to say, you got something to plug, or you got something or you got a joke that okay, but don't just stand there and hum and haw. The best thing to do is be honest with the audience and say, all right, I know it's 7:30. He's not here yet. The group's not here yet. So we're just going to wait for another 20 minutes. Everybody go get some popcorn and a drink and talk to your neighbor, and I'll be back out here in 20 minutes and introduce him.
Yeah.
You can always be honest with the audience, and they will always be appreciative.
Well, that's such a great statement right there. Always be honest with the audience. Now, okay, we're talking gospel music and all that. You would like to think that we're always honest about everything all the time. Maybe not so much all the time.
Maybe not. Yeah.
But being honest with the audience, what a great statement right there. Because you know what I have found over my time of doing this? They can see right through stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You don't want to hide anything from. And if there's something going on stage, if there's a joke, let them in on it. If there's a problem on stage, let them know, hey, we got a problem here with this microphone, and we're going to change. Come out, and the tech guy comes out and let them know what's going on. They'd appreciate it. Don't try to cover up, and it'll just make things worse. Yeah.
We've got some folks here that are online with us. I want to read them. Plus, I'm getting past the note here. Yep. Okay. Let me do this. This will help right here. So we've got Brenda McGlone saying hey to everybody. Jimmy Hayes saying hey to everybody. Barb Wise. Now, I remember during our series that I did with you, Don, the 7-part series that I did, I remember Barb Wise jumping on there and loving the Statler brothers. Do you happen to know Barb by any chance? Does that ring a bell to you?
That name rings a bell just from the fact that we hear from her a lot.
Yeah,
and a lot of it on the Facebook, and whenever we post anything, I remember I know that name, and so many names I know, but I don't have faces to put with them.
Yeah. Philip Campbell says, looking forward to Don. Amen is my favorite album. That was a good record, Don.
That was our last studio album. Yeah, one of my favorites too.
And David Stewart says, hey, buddy. Daryl Sheely says, I'm here. Christian David says, hey, Les, glad to see you back at it again, feeling better. I know a little late in telling you that, I'm sure. Patty Graham from Ohio is here. Philip Campbell, Huckabee is a good man. And you know what? I have to agree with that. Do you, Don? Do you know Mike Huckabee?
Oh, yeah. I've done the Huckabee show. I did it when I was promoting the Statler book, the anthology. Yeah, he's got a good heart.
Yeah. Ruth Clark from Central New York. We've got Sarah from Murphy, North Carolina. We got Rebecca from Mount Sterling, Kentucky. They're from all over the place, Don. Blackwood Brothers tribute was special that the Statlers did. Yeah. Everybody loves that one, Don.
That was a favorite thing to put together, Les. I was such a fan, as we all were, but I sat down and took so many of their song titles and just put it together to tell the story of what they meant to us. And they did mean. So James Blackwood, he's the king for my money.
For sure. Elaine Sledge says, watching from Bowling Green, I could hear Don's voice while I was reading the anthology.
Good. That means that was conversational. And that's what I always want my writing to be, something that's conversational and easy to take.
Yeah. David Stewart says, I have both of the Statler brother books. Just love them. Let's see. Patty Graham read the anthology book at my prodding, by the way, I want to say on that. And the book was great, she said. Daryl Sheely. Now, I know you know Daryl.
I know Daryl. Yes, I do.
He's on here. He says, I have the CD and the Kindle version.
Okay.
So Kindle. So you're on Kindle.
That's cool. Yeah, there's all kinds of ways you can read it. Yep.
Okay. That's cool. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Hayes loves the Statler Brothers. Kevin Kruger, question for Don. Let me see. This is a good question here. So Kevin Kruger has a radio station called Affirm Southern Gospel. So go online maybe sometime and listen to it, Don. It's a great station. Here's his question. It says, are there any songs the Statlers passed on and later regretted?
No, there were some that got away from us. I won't say we passed on them. I got the story in the book, me and Bobby McGee. We had it first, right after Chris wrote it, and he pitched it to us, and we said, yeah, we're going to record it. But before we got it recorded, he pitched it to Roger Miller, and Roger beat us in the studio to get it. So I've always loved that song. I think it's just probably the best thing that Chris ever wrote, and he wrote some terrific things. Baptized Jesse Taylor in Cedar Creek, remember that?
Yeah.
Frazier wrote it, and it was sent to their to our record label. But they was never sent to us. So once we heard it, we just loved the song. But we did put it on an album later. We put both of those songs on the album later.
Okay. All right. And I don't know if this question is for me or for you, but the question is, do you have a favorite song recorded by the Statler Brothers? If the question is from me, the very first song I ever purchased for my wife on a 45 was I'll Go to My Grave Loving You.
Well, that couldn't be any better of a clue, of a cue for a record. I like that. Okay.
Yes, I was trying to be subtle. I'll Go to My Grave Loving You. Do you have a favorite Statler song?
Oh, hey, well, I got to say that one. I wrote it. It was a big hit for us. It was just, it's very special to me, too.
Yeah.
So, I couldn't do any better than that. Although I get into the album stuff, and there's just so many that I love that people may not be aware of that I like better even than some of the hits and the singles. But they get very personal.
Philip Campbell asks, "How is Phil doing?"
Phil's doing fine. I see Phil, excuse me. I see him all the time. We still go to church together. And so I always see him every Sunday morning, and we pop into each other at the office from time to time during the week. And he's doing good.
And Philip Campbell also says this, Don, I'm sure you're proud of Jimmy with Brotherly Love. What do you think of their quartet?
Oh, absolutely. Matter of fact, I'm going to go see him here in about 3 weeks in concert. Jimmy is just maybe the best tenor singer, or maybe just the best singer in the world. I just absolutely love him. I love his music, and we're so proud of him and what he's done.
Yeah, yeah. He's a special man. We all love Jimmy.
I love him.
Somebody says, Sylvia says, we're listening from Columbia, Nebraska, and loving it. And let's see, we've got Terry Kelly saying how to get our songs heard and recorded. Okay, so there's a good music business question. How if you're a writer, how do you get songs into the hands of folks?
I would say the best way, and people don't always do that, they're trying to get it to the artist. That's a very difficult thing to do. It may take some time, go to Nashville or wherever your headquarters are for the type of music that you want to get involved in. And go, if you're a writer, to a publishing company and make the rounds. Go to the publisher, let them hear 3 or 4 of your best songs, and they'll kick you out the door, and you go down the street and play it for the next publisher. And just keep going, because once you have a publisher behind you, they will find the artist if they believe in your music. But that's the best way out.
Okay. Sean Porter says, good evening to 2 legends. Well, I see one. I'm
talking with you, or who's he talking to?
I know he's talking about you. I'm trying to find out where the second guy is.
I don't know.
Let's see. Arlene says hi from Oklahoma. Nancy from Marietta, Georgia. I have so missed the Statler since y'all retired. I mean, you've got to hear that every day.
You know, we do. And Wilson Fairchild, my son and my nephew, with Langdon and Will, they work and travel around all the time. And they hear that from fans every night, that they miss us and they still love the music. Our fans are still out there. They all have been so loyal, and they passed it down to the next generation and the next generation. And it is just so fulfilling when these people still remember the music and still want to hear it.
Yeah. And here's a good question. This is from Greg Wahlberg. Please ask what is the most common mistake singers make in the music business.
That singers make?
Yeah, the most common mistake.
In thinking that they did it on their own, that they think it's their talent got them to where they are, and that's not what got it. It was the fans that got them to where they are. Your talent got their attention, but the fans got you there, and they kept you there. And most people forget that on the way up, and after they get sitting on the throne for a while.
I should have recorded this and taken this to the National Quartet Convention and played it for every single artist that I have to deal with. That, I mean, not just I'm talking about the whole gospel music world has to deal with.
Well, every field, you know, I'm talking about every field. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so good, though. I love that. Let's see. Lori is listening from Minnesota. Let's see. We've got Patrick listening in and Sean Porter, and they're all talking to each other here in our little community. And Mary Bowling says, listening from Richmond, Virginia. First song I heard was Flowers on the Wall. Also love I'll Go to My Grave Loving You. We have a local radio station that does all request hour, and I'm kind of their Statler brother fan. So
every station should know. Yeah.
She's calling radio asking for Statler brother music. And here you've been retired for how long?
Oh, since 2002.
And still getting requests on the radio.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
That's good stuff right there. Okay, so let's see. Let's go back, and maybe I'll read some more comments here in a moment. But let's go back to the business a little bit. How about recording? Before you went to record an album, what kind of preparation did you and the guys make before stepping into the studio?
We did total preparation. We would sit down, and first we chose our songs, and then we would sit around the conference room table, and we would work up the arrangements, and we knew what we wanted to do. We would converse with Jerry Kennedy, our producer, over the phone. We'd send him rough copies of what we were doing. And when we walked in the studio, we were ready. We knew everything we wanted. It was just a matter of the pickers the session musicians doing their part. And as you know, they're fast learners. Everybody works searching. And we would usually always get 3 songs a session. And that's a 3-hour session is what that amounts to. There were times when we get 4. Then there were times we get 2. But basically, we were prepared and we didn't waste a lot of time in the studio.
That's still really the process today. Just so you know, it's been years since you've been in the studio to record an album. But just so you know, I mean, it's the same today.
But now I have known artists, Les, that would go into the studio with no idea what they're going to do and would write a song during the session while the pickers are out back eating hamburgers and drinking coffee. And they would write a song, and then they would teach it to the musicians and record it. And that's a long and expensive process.
Boy, yes.
Yeah.
And it's not getting any cheaper, Don, since you last did it. Just so you know.
I'm sure it's not. Yeah.
Okay. And somebody asked, and this is a good question, and I know the answer to this question, but I want you to give the answers because it's so cool. Daniel says, how did the Statlers go about choosing songs? I love this story that was in your book.
We use what we call the 4-star system. We would pitch. We wrote a song or we heard something we wanted to record. We pitch it to each other sitting around the table. And then we would say about 20, 25 songs we'd come up with. And then we would narrow it down because we'd each get a vote and we'd get an equal say. And if this song, I like this a lot, so I'm going to give it 4 stars. That's the most you could give it. I like it pretty well. I'm going to give it 3 stars. I know that's so-so. I give it 2.5. And then when we get it up, we'd add them all up. And whichever song, starting with 16 stars, because we each could 16 stars would definitely get on the album. 15s would get on the album. 14s. And that way everybody had an equal say, and it was always weighted that way.
What was the highest number a song ever got that you can remember?
16. Well, we had a lot of 16s where all 4 of us would put down 4 stars for it. So a lot, and those would usually be the singles off the album, whatever the 16 was.
What was the lowest number you can recall? And you don't have to say the song. I'm just wondering how low it got.
You know, I've still got some of those sheets in the files. I'll have to look, but I don't know. But we probably, nothing 11 or 12 would probably be all it would be on an album.
Yeah.
Because this one guy not liking it, but maybe he'd give it a 1, and somebody else gave it a 4. But everybody's got a voice, so there you go.
That's good. And there's probably some groups watching tonight. There's some soloists, so it would be easy for a soloist. They just get to choose.
Oh, I'll tell you, and I would never want to have that responsibility. Because all of a sudden, I like that song, I'm going to do this. Sometimes that's too much authority, and you got to bounce it off. You're a group man, I know you are, and I am too. And we love bouncing things off of each other. What do you think about this? And somebody might not say, well, I love it. They might say, yeah, so could use some work. All right, good. That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah. Well, and if there are any soloists watching tonight, let me give a little business advice here. And that is, to Don's point, call your producer. And let the producer weigh in on some of this stuff.
Oh, Jerry Kennedy was our producer lifelong, but he was so good at that. And anything we did, he could polish it and make it better. And he was like a 5th Statler to us, and still is. I talk to him all the time. Love the guy.
Well, let's see who else we have here with us. Kathy Moore from Gulfport, Mississippi. David Mattingly saying Flowers on the Wall has already been mentioned. Please ask Don why they only sing 1st and 3rd verses on stage during many of their performances.
A lot of times with songs, we would just do a condensed version to get more songs in on the show. Kind of like you would do if you were doing a medley where you just do a verse and a chorus and verse and chorus. And so that was one of them that we just cut a middle verse out of just for time. That way we got to do another song.
Gotcha. Good. Don Prather says, hey, Les and Don, love seeing you. Question for Don. I remember you were thinking of doing a picture book. Excuse me. Any update on that? The last time we talked, I really hit you hard wanting a picture book.
I think it was your idea instead of mine.
Maybe so.
Maybe he needs to ask you that one, Les. I don't know. Yeah, I hadn't thought too much about a picture book.
Okay. But like in your current, in all your books, you have pictures, and they're just so interesting, and there's always stories behind those pictures.
True.
I bet you it would be great. I'm pitching it again, Don. I'm hitting you hard.
I'm going to think about it because, I'm like you. I love looking at old pictures, even people that I don't know. I love looking at old pictures. So that might be fun. Yeah.
You know what? Speaking, okay, let's talk a little bit about going back into the music of business, the business of music a little bit. What kind of things can artists do to sell more than just music? I mean, you all had, like, for example, here's a little show and tell item that I've got. You had, books with pictures and stories and different things, and your music product and T-shirts and hats and stuff like that. Did you sell anything kind of unusual that was pretty good and profitable for you?
Well, those show books were always very profitable, along with the records. And then we had a catalog of all kinds of things you could mail order. From T-shirts to nightgowns to coffee mugs and just all kinds of things. My son Devo sitting here; he handles all that stuff. He could probably give me a whole, Cookie jars. We had clocks. We had a Steiner Brothers clock. Watches. Oh yeah, I don't even know where some of that stuff is.
Let me tell you, this is Southern gospel music. I'm going to weigh in here. Get you some cookie jars and sell them.
There you go. Everybody needs and wants a cookie jar.
Yeah.
Yeah. You buy it too. Yeah.
Southern gospel, man, we eat, number one. And number two, you always have to go to homecomings and you sing at homecomings and all that. So they're always feeding you. I'm telling you, cookies. That's the ticket.
That's it.
All right. Let's see what else we have here. We have, let me see. Well, there's a lot of questions coming in for you here, Don. Let me see.
All right, good.
It's hard for me to kind of do all this. You say your son's there with you. Here's something. Enjoy Wilson Fairchild. So tell them that's from Barb Wise. Hopefully they can come back to Branson. So tell the boys that.
I'll tell them. They're in Nashville right now recording.
Okay.
My other son, Devo, is the one that's here with me.
I got you. Okay.
Langdon and Will are in Nashville right now recording. So they're just not far from you.
What was somebody asked a question? I can't find it now, but it was about songwriting. Did songwriting was it easy for you?
Relatively easy for me. I think it was just a gift. Some people have that gift. Some have, I can't drive a straight nail. So everybody has a different gift. And I was able to, at an early age, put some words together. And I started writing songs when I was 9, 10 years old. So
wow. Okay.
I was given that knack.
Okay, here's a good business question or thing to talk about, and I have a very strong opinion on this. I'm wondering what yours will be. If you are a performing artist, be it a soloist or you're part of a group, but you write as well, just because you wrote the song does not mean you should record the song. Do you agree with that premise?
Absolutely. Always record the best song at hand, no matter who wrote it, who published it, or who pitched it to you. And keep the politics and the money out of it. Don't worry. Hey, I got a good opportunity to put this on an album. No, then you start loading up with halfway songs, and nobody cares about that.
Man, I'm so glad to hear you agree with me on that. Because I deal a lot in gospel music with people who write their own songs, and they are the singer, and I'm producing them. And in our very first meeting, it's the very first thing that comes out of my mouth, and that is, I understand you're a writer. You're probably a great writer, but let's be sure we can agree on this one thing. Before we go in to record 10 songs, let's not record them until we find the 10 greatest songs that make sense for you, no matter who wrote them.
Absolutely. Sometimes you want to go back and get old songs that fit good into an album. So use an old song, use an old standard. Just if that makes the album better, use it.
See, Kevin's saying, Don, songs that were 11 or 12, or that were 11 or 12s. Okay, I guess in the star system that you're talking about.
Total.
Have you thought about pitching those to other artists? So songs that maybe just barely missed the cut for your records.
Yeah, we had other artists that recorded. I've had a lot of other artists that recorded songs of mine. Elvis, for example, and the Cathedrals recorded things, and Tammy Wynette. Number of things. I could now all of a sudden I'm blank on some of the people that did, but
Yeah.
A lot of people.
I know you, I think, well enough to know that you are absolutely not a name dropper, and you are the just most humble man that I've met in a long time. But you do realize that in the answer to that question, the first two names that you said was Elvis and the Cathedrals recorded music.
Yeah.
That's pretty tall cotton, Don.
Yeah, I tell you. I want to tell you what, you talk about tall cotton to me, that's the Cathedrals. They might have been the absolute best. And George and Glenn, all the guys and George and Glenn were just legends and good friends, and wow, just hadn't been the same since they gone.
You know what? Let me turn this around on you a little bit. We're talking to you about maybe getting some ideas for from your years in music and the business side of it. Did you learn anything business-wise from anybody in the gospel industry? And if so, what were those business things that you learned from them?
Oh, yeah. We learned as kids showmanship from the Statesmen and the Blackwood Brothers. And they were the two best teachers. They never knew they were teaching us, but they were. And we were just going to those all-night sings and sitting there and soaking it up. To see Hovey Lister and the Statesmen come on stage, we learned how to come on stage from watching them. When they said, ladies and gentlemen from Atlanta, Georgia, Hovey Lister and the sensational Statesmen. I mean, it was all the energy in the building just went to that stage, and they ran to the microphone, and they with a song, with a rhythm song that would just raise you up off the bleachers. And we learned this is excitement.
Yeah.
Then we saw the Blackwood Brothers. They would stand there, and some of the action things that they did, and some of the just pure harmony stuff they did. We learned. We bought those albums, and we stole them blind. We learned got our musical education from the albums of the Blackwoods and the Statesmen.
You said something at the beginning of the answer to that question that I want to touch on a little bit, and that was they didn't know that they were teaching you at the time, which brings up this point to all artists. And really, this is a life question. This isn't a music question, or a statement really, and that is, people are watching, and they're going to learn good or bad depending upon what you're feeding to them. And that's a life lesson, not just a music lesson.
You never know who you have influence over. You never know who's watching. And today, everybody has a camera in their pocket, so they're going to capture that moment. And so you always need to be aware of who you are and what you might mean to somebody, and to act accordingly.
Here is a question from Norma Tobias. And I think I might know the answer to this question, but I'm kind of hoping that I'm wrong in what I'm thinking how you're going to answer this question. And the question is there any, and she has any in capital letters, any chance that we can hear Don singing again?
I would say there's a good chance you won't. I have no desire to sing, never wanted to sing alone, never wanted to be a soloist. And when the Statlers retired in 2002, and we knew Jimmy was going on, he needed to, he was the youngest. But Harold and Phil and I pretty much said we're hanging it up musically. And that's when I started writing. I started writing books, and I've got about 10 books published since then.
Yeah.
And but no, I don't think you'll hear me sing again unless you go back and play some old albums. And I would love for you to do that.
Oh, that's going to happen. We're going to do that here in just a little bit. And by the way, I told you I was just going to keep you a few minutes. I've lied. I just looked, and we've been at it for about 30 minutes, I guess.
I never expected you to tell me the truth. That's okay.
Well,
yeah.
I set myself up for that. I should have known that was coming.
Line like that, I had to say that.
Let me see here.
My dog's head in case people see me looking down.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right.
On my lap.
Do you need to leave? I mean,
I'm yours for the night.
Well, now hold on now, Don. You don't want to tell me that.
we might do a telethon here.
All right. Well, I'll go a little bit longer, and then I'll bid you a good night, and then I'm going to feature some Statler Brother music.
I'm fine. Okay, however you want to do it, I'm fine.
All right. Let me see. I'm going to give you the part B to Norma's question. She asked about if we would ever hear you sing again, and then she says, "How about maybe you and Phil and Jimmy? So maybe a trio instead of just a solo." No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's certainly nice to be wanted, And it's certainly a nice suggestion, but that's just not something, and it may not sound the way she might think it would anymore. It's really nearly 20 years ago.
Well, and her parting comment is this. And so, feel good about this. Don's voice is so soothing. I miss it.
Thank you kindly. That's very sweet. And I certainly appreciate those kind of words.
Scott Edwards says, hello, Les. Very interesting program tonight. Love the Statler Brothers. Thank you, Scott. Let me see. Alexis is asking a question about Debo, since Debo's there. Okay. And the question is, does Debo sing?
He does not. Debo picks. He's the guitarist. He plays some piano, and he takes care of all of our business at the office, and all the Statler business, and runs the show there, but he doesn't sing. I've never heard him sing. As a matter of fact, even as a kid, he wouldn't sing.
Okay, all right, very good. Now he's a writer, because I know
a lot of songs for us. Yes, you'll see that on the album. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Mike Keller says always let. Go ahead, say that again.
You said a lot of the singles. Yeah, he
that's
together.
That's what I thought. Let's see here. Mike Keller says, always loved listening to you, Brother Don, sing. And let's see what else we have here. Okay, any chance of unreleased material being released?
I'm not sure unless there's any unreleased material. There may be one or two things in the can at Mercury, but it was in the can for a reason, something we didn't think, we didn't want that to be released then and probably wouldn't want to now. But no, we really never put a lot of things in the can on hold, and because we recorded what we wanted to and what we believed in, and we released it.
Philip Campbell says James Blackwood sung with the Statler Brothers. I want to be more like Jesus every day on one of your gospel segments on TV. I remember that one. That was good.
Yeah, James Blackwood sang our closing song with us on TV. And he's the only person that ever came and sang the closing song with us. We always did a closing gospel song on our TV series for 7 years in the 90s on CNN every Saturday night. And that night we sang I Want to Be More Like Jesus, and James sang it with us.
Yeah.
Befitting, yeah.
And I don't know if I've asked you this already, but it's coming up here a few more times, so I'm thinking maybe I missed it. How is Phil doing?
Phil's doing good. You did ask me, but he is doing good. I see him. I see Phil often, so he's good. Phil is totally retired. He doesn't do any interviews. He sings in the choir at church, and as I do, I sing in the pew in church, and that's about the only time we really ever open our mouths musically.
Okay. Does he still go out jogging with cowboy boots?
I said that one time, but yeah, probably does. He still jogs. He still walks. And he still jogs. And in his younger days, I have seen him running with cowboy boots on. And at first, I thought somebody was after him, because why would anybody else run with cowboy boots on?
Yeah.
No, he was just doing it for the heck of it. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me see. I'm going to ask you one more question, and then I'll let you go. And man, we appreciate your time. This has been wonderful.
This is fun.
And I'm going to play some Statler Brother music. But my question is, at what time in your career did you get Marshall Grant to come in and manage the group? Because you all managed really yourself until that time, right?
Well, yeah, we were the manager. Marshall came in as our agent, and he put all the tours together and all the dates together. But that was about 1982, I believe it was, in Marshall. We had known Marshall from the early Johnny Cash days. He was part of John's band, Tennessee 3. And then he retired from that and went to work with us, and so it was 82 on up to 2002, the last 20 years of our career.
Okay. When do you think a group is at the point to where they need management or need additional assistance?
When they can't do it all themselves. And sometimes you overextend yourself by saying, all right, I'm going to book the dates, I'm going to put them all together. I'm going to rent the auditoriums. I'm going to do whatever and put it all together. And then I'm going to set up the sound. Then I'm going to drive the bus. And then I'm going to do all that. You need to say, whoa, wait a minute. You got to stop and start relegating duties. And that's when a management comes in and says, we can get a better person to do this than you doing it all. And sometimes that's what you have to do. Because you wear yourself down to a frazzle by trying to do it all.
Yeah, yeah.
We were always lucky with 4 of us. We all had different duties, so you didn't have to everybody do it themselves.
Well, that's good. So for those who are in, say, a trio or a quartet, how did you all divvy up your duties? Who did what?
Harold coordinated all the dates with our agents, with all the booking. Everything went through him. Phil did all the bookkeeping, all the CPAs and the large, all that went through him. And I did all the promotion, all the interviews for each tour every time we did it, and all the magazines and radio and TV interviews. So I did promotions. So that basically was how it was there.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good news. I shouldn't say good news, but good information for groups. Listen, if you have somebody that kind of is the leader in the group, that's wonderful. But one person cannot do everything that is needed for any kind of touring group, no matter if it's gospel music, country music. Well, it doesn't matter. One person can't do it all.
Yeah, you will wear yourself out.
Yeah. Well, Don, speaking of wearing out, I don't want to wear you out. You've been very kind. And I
always enjoy talking to you. You're a good friend. You do a great show, and I watch you. I don't always send my name in, but I want you to know I'm always here looking at you and listening to you. And I told you before, you're the one of the most sincere, maybe the most sincere interviewer I've ever worked with.
Well, you're very kind, and I know you watch because often. And I want to tell you, thank you for this, by the way. Often you will email me. Sometimes you've even emailed me like really late at night where you just finished watching the show and something maybe I said or did or played or something touched you. And you've always been kind to communicate that to me. And Don Reed, you don't know what that means to me.
Well, you mean a lot to me, and I appreciate everything you do. And thanks to everybody that listened in tonight, and thanks for your questions. It's been fun, and we'll do it anytime you want to.
You know, the first song I'm going to play as soon as we hang up, I'm going to play The King of Love.
Oh, yeah. My brother Harold wrote that, The King of Love.
That's a great song.
It is. If you listen to the way it's put together, and I'm sure you have, but the verses, you got the birth, and you got the ministry, and then you got the crucifixion in each 3 verses. And it's, yeah, well done, and we loved it. Johnny Cash recorded it. We recorded it. It's been done a lot.
Well, Don, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Les. Have a great evening.
Have a good night.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Don Reed of the one and only Statler Brothers. And, man, we are so glad and so thankful that he took the time to answer and talk about some businessy stuff. And I hope if you are an artist, you are listening. Now, let's get into the music because we were talking about the business of music. So we've got the business part out of the way. What do you say we get some music going here, okay? And as promised, let's start with The King of Love, the Statler Brothers, here on Live with Les.
And even though Jesus knew his death had to be, he prayed that if any way possible, let this hour pass him by. But it was all part of the plan of God for man.
Jesus said it has to be. The Father planned my destiny. This is my blood, which I must give. I will die so you may live. He was a child. He was the son. He was a man among men. He was a prince. He was a saint. He was the King of love. Jesus died, the world was dark. Not a sound was there to hark. The breath was gone, he hung his head. But wait, let us rejoice, for he has risen from the dead. He was a child, he was the son, he was a man among men. He was a prince, He was the saint. He was the King of love.
King of Love, the Statler Brothers, here on Live with Les. We just had a great time of conversation with Don Reed of the Statler Brothers. And so we're going to feature some Statler Brother music now. Hey, do me a favor, if you're still watching, and I hope you are, hit the share button so others can hear the conversation that we had with Don and hear this great quartet music from a great quartet known as the Statler Brothers. And here is one of my very favorite songs from the Statlers. I don't know how many times I have played this one on the radio over 43 years. The Statlers.
What is a miracle?
There's a man in here.
A miracle is an extraordinary event showing evidence of a supernatural work of God. While he was on earth, he performed a lot of miracles, and he performs a lot of miracles today.
There's a man in here who turns water to wine, and he walks on the water and gives sight to the blind, and he gives back life to the ones that's dead, and he fed 4,000 with 7 loaves of bread. There's a man in here who makes demons flee, who makes cripples walk, and it's chosen even me, for he lives in my heart, and I have no fear. I'm a better man, 'cause there's a man in here. There's a man in here that I'm looking for, cried the man who could find no room at the door. So they lowered him down on a stretcher bed, and Jesus looked at him and said, all your sins are all now gone this day. Take up your bed and go your way. And as he walked through the crowd, they heard him declare, I can tell you all, there's a man in there. There's a man in here.
The disciples cried when the ship was tossed from side to side. So they woke him up as the waves blew high and said, don't you care that we're about to die? And he said, peace, be still. And when the wind had laid, he said, where's your faith? Why were you so afraid? When they saw that the sea was smooth and clear, they said, thank you, God, that
the man's in here. There's a man in here who turns water to wine, and he walks on the water and gives sight to the blind, and he gives back life to the ones that's dead, and he fed 4,000 with 7 loaves of bread. There's a man in here who makes demons flee, who makes cripples walk, and has chosen even me, for he lives in my heart, and I have no fear. I'm a better man, 'cause there's a man in here. I'm a better man, 'cause there's a man in here.
I had to sing along with them there. Sorry about that. There's a man in here, the Statler Brothers. Man, that's good stuff. That's good quartet singing. What a great lyric. And I'm going to play one more before we do that. I'm going to play my favorite. You know, I've got 2 favorite Christmas songs. My number 1 favorite Christmas song is Beautiful Star of Bethlehem. I love it. I love it. I love it. My number 2 favorite Christmas song is, you know what it is? Come on, Statler Brothers. Who do you think? Harold and Don Reed wrote a lyric for the ages. And I'm going to end the show with that one tonight. But let's see who else is on here with us. Man, we had a good time with Don Reed. Best man that ever entertained, says Chris Lipson. Sorry about that, Chris. Sandra loved this song. Yeah. Nicholas, I was at my aunt's house when I found out Harold passed away. We miss Harold. What a funny man, talented man, and we miss him. And I know Don does for sure. Statler's made a mark in the music world, says Terry Carter. Terry, that's an understatement. That's probably at least one reason why you're singing quartet music. It is for me, that's for sure. Sylvia says, thank you, Les. What a special gift indeed. There's no better group than the Statlers. Nancy says, I love the Holy Bible albums, especially The King is Coming. You know, Nancy, I ended all of my radio shows from 1978 to 1984. I hosted a show in the Chicago, Illinois market, the third largest market in the country, every Saturday night from 7 to midnight. It was called Crossroads for Christ. And I ended every single show at 11:58, from 11:58 to midnight, playing the Statler Brothers, The King is Coming. Because I wanted everybody to know at the end of that show that, in fact, the King is coming. And the Statlers had a great version of that. And so I played that at the end of every show for 6 years. The King is coming. And oh, by the way, although he hasn't come yet, look at me in my God-given eyeballs. He's coming, as sure as I'm in this seat. Yes. Daryl says, there's a Man in Here is not only a great song, it's a fun song. It really is. I'm going to recut that with a quartet one day. One day soon, I hope, actually. Let's see here. My Aunt Sue's on here. Hey, Aunt Sue. I love that one. Every word is true. Good choice, Les Butler, says Sarah. Good evening, Terry. Jeremy Brown, never heard that, but I like it. All right. Well, I don't know which one that was, but I'm glad you like it. Lou, sounds amazing on that song. You must have been talking about the first one that I played, The King of Love. Yes, agreed. Dennis, Nance, best quartet ever. Elaine, I remember this one. Nathan says, enjoyed this. Now, if I just had a producer. Hey, Nathan, I caught that. Oh, yes, praise the Lamb of God. There's a Man in Here. You must have been listening to that, Mike. What a song, huh? Ruth says, thanks, Don and Les. Great show. Thank you so much. And again, thanks, everybody, for watching tonight. And please, please hit the share button. And don't forget, when we're done tonight, go to my Live with Les Facebook page. You're on my personal page now, okay? So on Facebook, type Live with Les. It'll take you to that page, because moving forward, starting next week, I have a show tomorrow afternoon at 1 Central, 2 Eastern. So come back here tomorrow. But starting next week, I'm going to be having the shows live on the Live with Les Facebook page and on my YouTube channel. So go to youtube.com, type in Live with Les Butler, like that channel, hit the little bell. So anytime I'm on, it will tell you that I'm coming on live, and you'll never have to miss a show. And at the end of the week, every week, I give away a pair of tickets to the Mike Huckabee TV show in Nashville and a pair of tickets to the Passion Play in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, just south of Branson. Okay? So go do all of that. And also, let me see, let me do this real quick. Let me tell you about my, I'm dropping things. My schedule for next month. Hold on just a second here. Let me find it. All right. Getting close. And by the way, next month, I'm doing things differently. I'm doing things completely differently, different. And so you need to pay attention. I normally do about, I don't know, 9, 10, 11, 12 shows a month, somewhere in there. In August, I'm doing them every Tuesday night. So that is 5 shows. August 3rd, 10th, 17th, 24th, and 31st. That's 5 shows. And instead of the typical, basically hour-long show, they're going to be 2-hour-long shows. And here's the lineup. So on August 3rd, we're going to do Southern Sounds from the North. there's a book that was written titled Southern Sounds from the North. We're going to look into that book, and we're going to play some of the Southern gospel artists that's represented in that book from the North. And it's going to be great music. You don't want to miss August 3rd, Tuesday night, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 2-hour shows every Tuesday in the month of August. August 10th will be Butler Music Group and Family Group Music Artist shows, where I will feature the music from folks that I produce and work with. August 7th, we're going to have the Skaggs, White, and Fairchild album from about 20 years ago that I'm going to feature some songs. And I did a radio special with them about 20 years ago, and I'm going to play some of the interviews and some of the things that we talked about from that radio show. That's going to be fun with Sharon Skaggs and Sharon White and Barbara Fairchild, and just, it's going to be good. Then on August 24th, a surprise show, meaning it's going to be a surprise. And August 31st, we're going to play this live bootleg live concert from the Couriers, the Cathedrals, and the Blackwood Brothers from 1969. What about that? That is going to be, and by the way, it's just really cool. And it's incredible music. So that's going to be on August 31st. So every Tuesday in August, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 2-hour shows instead of an hour, and I'm not doing as many shows. So we're going to kind of see how all that looks and how all that feels, and it's going to be great. Going to have great music, some great guests, and some fun stuff going on. Okay, all right. Let me see who else we've got talking to us here. Norma says, "Thank you for your efforts to spread the music of the Statlers to an entire new generation." Man, Norma, it is my honor and privilege to do so. So, hey, there's my wife giving you a little written reminder there. Thank you, Bev. Smart, beautiful, my helper. I'm a blessed man. Doris says, all their songs are so real. They sing about the truth and facts. Love the Statlers. And Sarah says, yes, you Highland native. Sarah, I lived in Highland from 1967 to 1980. 5, I think, or 4 or 3. No, see, we got married in 83 and we moved to the next town then. So I was in Highland through 1983. So we've got a fellow river rat with us on the show tonight. Calumet River Rat. Let's see, Les, that is awesome. Well, I don't know what was awesome, but I'm glad it was. Thank you. Patrick saying, surrender to God's call to the gospel ministry after hearing the Statlers in concert 35 years ago. Patrick, what a cool story that is. Wow. Man, I hope Don's still listening. What about that, Don? Patrick Womack. Surrendered to God's call to the gospel ministry after hearing the Statlers in concert 35 years ago. Hello, Nicholas. David Stewart, hey, my buddy. All right, everybody's talking to each other there. Peter says someone should have asked about the business side of buses. Oh, no. We're not going to, we wanted to have a nice and a good and a fun and a happy show. The business side of buses is, it's all downhill. Don't buy a bus is what I'm saying. Don may disagree. And if we have him back again for some business stuff, maybe we'll hit buses. But I always tell artists, we'll continue the music business conversation. I always tell artists, do not buy a bus until you absolutely, positively cannot go and do the things that you're being asked to do and being paid to do without having that kind of vehicle, a bus. If every week you're having to travel hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles and you couldn't get rest otherwise and so forth and so on, then maybe think about a bus. But until that time, until it's absolutely physically impossible to do what you do without a bus, do not buy a bus, because you will start singing for your bus. And I am telling you now, I cannot tell you the number of people, number of artists that are no longer singing today because the bus payment and all the things that go wrong with a bus took them under. Do not buy a bus. There you go, Peter. That's my 2 cents. I wonder if Don would agree with that. Let's see. That's about it, I guess. All right. So did y'all have a good time? If you did, hit the share button and tell others about it. Okay. And be with me tomorrow. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. Sometime between now and tomorrow. I think it's just a surprise show. No telling what I'm going to do tomorrow. It could get pretty crazy and zany tomorrow at 1 Central, 2 Eastern. Okay. That's it. Don Reed, again, sir, thank you. It is greatly appreciated. Your time, your investment there. Thank you, sir. And if you don't already have it, get the book where he reads it to you. And it's incredible. Go do it. All right. God bless y'all. See you down the road.